Hey guys, it's Bobby Sweeting with Alto. We're here today to talk about our Boost mountain bike hubs, disassembly, reassembly, and service. All you're going to need is a single tool, a 1.5mm Allen wrench. We recommend the Wearer brand. They're very good quality. You can buy it online for a few bucks. So let's get started. Alright, we're going to get started with the front hub, with the disassembly. You take your 1.5mm Allen wrench and loosen this pinch bolt on the drive side, and then unthread it all the way to the outside. It's going to unthread until it bottoms out on the axle, and you'll get about 2mm of play. You then take your fingers inside of that gap on the drive side and pull on the axle, and this cap will come off. The cap is held on by an O-ring that presses onto the axle. This will come out. You'll see that there are two 6803 NSK bearings. When you reassemble this system, you want to make sure that this collar is threaded all the way to the outside of the axle so that you have the ability to bottom out the cap on the other side. Make sure to grease the axle before assembling it. There's no grease in this video so we can show you the machining, but grease the surfaces that are going to be that the bearings are going to be riding on. Slide that through from the drive side, take your end cap, press it on until that bottoms out. Once it bottoms out, there's going to be about 2mm of side-to-side play. The real benefit of this system is that when you tighten down your through axle, you're never going to get any side load, any thrust loading on the bearings. That's what gives Alto hubs such good bearing life. Once that's pressed in, you've got that 2mm of play. You take your collar down until it just touches the bearing real lightly, and that'll eliminate any of the axial play. And then you take your Allen key again and tighten the pinch bolt down just until that collar doesn't rotate on the axle. It's not a structural part, so you don't have to use a torque wrench and you don't have to over tighten this bolt. You're going to tighten it down just enough to keep that collar from moving, and you're good to go. The front hub is as easy as that. Alright, so now we'll go through the disassembly, service, and reassembly of our rear boost hub. Similar to the front, you're going to loosen the pinch bolt on the non-drive side and then unthread that adjuster as far out on the axle as it will go. You have two options in order to get the axle out. You can pull it from the non-drive side, or you can pull this cap off, which is held on by an O-ring and pressed onto the axle. The free hub will then slide out. It's a 4-pawl design with 3 individual teeth per pawl on a 48-tooth internal ratchet ring for very quick engagement. And there are 2 6802 bearings in the free hub and 2 6902 bearings in the shell. The one-piece axle will then slide off out of the non-drive side. You want to make sure that the bearing surfaces are nice and greased, the free hub bearing surface and this bearing surface that rides on the non-drive shell bearing. When reassembling, you're going to unthread the adjuster all the way to the outside of the axle so that you can make sure when it's reassembled that this cap will bottom out properly. That axle slides in from the non-drive side. And then the free hub, you might want to re-grease this after it comes through if any of the grease gets wiped off by the shell bearings. And then the free hub will slide on, rotate it so that it slots in nicely to the ratchet ring, and then you press your cap on, make sure that's bottomed out. You'll have about 2mm of side-to-side play. Press in from the drive side and thread that collar down until it just touches the shell bearing. That'll remove all the side-to-side play, and then tighten your pinch bolt down there. And again, this is not a structural part, so you'll just tighten the pinch bolt down until it's snug and there's no rotation of the adjuster on the axle. One thing to note about this assembly is that when you service it, or if you were to swap between your XDR free hub and your Shimano free hub, make sure to loosen that pinch bolt and adjuster each time so that you can reset the axle stance. Because if you just pop the end cap off and the free hub off, do whatever service you need to do, or swap the free hub and then reassemble it without moving the adjuster, it should be the same, but we want to make sure of two things. We want to make sure that there's no side-to-side movement in the axle, and we want to make sure that there's no chance of ever overloading those bearings when you tighten your through axle. So it's best practice to loosen the pinch bolt and loosen the adjuster and then reset it every time you take your hub apart. So pretty simple. That's it for the rear Boost mountain bike hub. Alright, so there you have it, guys. It's as easy as that to disassemble, service, and reassemble our Boost mountain bike hubs. Be sure to check out our website and our YouTube channel for more support videos and testing videos, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.